Hi there. It is just after 7:15 and time to show up. I'm showing up. I'm glad you showed up. I appreciate every single one of you. Do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit, and let's ship in the box. Now, I've been experimenting with Starfield for the past month and a half, 2 months, and it's because people do not establish the things that I want established. And one of the things that I was originally working on was I was going, okay, let's take a look at all of the different ship parts and let's figure out like where we can get them and where we can buy them and what the smartest way to go about buying ships is. And I was taking a whole bunch of notes on that, and in the process of doing that, somebody said, yeah, it's hard for me to find all of the ships that you can buy. And I'm like, oh, fuck. All of the stock ships that you can just, like, buy off the shelf. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about where you need to go to find that. And I started taking notes on that, and then I kind of got sidetracked away from that. And the Free Lanes update sort of announced that that there were going to be new ship parts. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm going to have to redo this whole ship part thing anyway. I'm probably going to have to redo the whole buying ships thing anyway. So that was kind of frustrating. And I said, well, let's experiment with some other things. And I tried a couple of new approaches to how I play the game. I started a brand new game, and I said, what if I just don't do shit? What if I, like, go and I talk to Sarah, and as soon as I talk to Sarah and hand over the artifact, what if I just bugger off and just, like, go do my own thing and do not bother to engage with any quests anywhere in the settled systems? And I do this fairly frequently after a Unity jump, but that's with a high-level character. And I went, well, what if I do that with a brand new character who's at, like, level 3, and then I just, like, don't go back and even start the main quest until I'm level 60 and have all of the skills that I need to build up the best ship that I need. That got really boring and annoying. It took me a long time to get to level 50, and it was just really a grind. So I thought, that's clearly the wrong way to do this. What if I go entirely the opposite direction? I start a new game and I go immediately into the main quest. So I did that, and at the conclusion of the main quest, what I found was I was severely underleveled and underskilled toward the end of that quest. Because of the challenges. There are all of these challenges that you have to do on your way up through the skills that you can't until you've run into enough stuff. Like, in order to get level 4 piloting so you can pilot a Class C ship, you have to shoot down a certain number of other ships. I think it's 35 is the total all the way across all of that. And, you know, you get some of that. You get like 10 in the ship simulator for the Vanguard quest. But I didn't do the Vanguard quest. I just went straight through the main quest. So I didn't encounter anywhere near enough ships. Another thing that I had trouble leveling up was lockpicking, the security skill. You have to pick a certain number of locks. And I just wasn't encountering that many locks. And another thing that I was noticing was that you would encounter enough of something to complete the challenge for a skill, but you wouldn't have the skill point to get the skill. So it's like you still need to kill 2 more ships to get your level 3 to get your level 3 piloting. So you kill your 2 ships, and now you can get your level 3 piloting, but you don't have the skill point to get level 3 piloting. And now you have to kill like 20 ships to get to level 4, and you're fighting 3 more ships, but they don't count because you haven't opened that challenge yet. that seems unfair. That seems it seems unreasonable. And you run into stuff like that all the time where you're completing challenges that you know you're going to have later, but you just haven't gotten the skill points to buy the skills for it. So that's really frustrating. And basically, based on that, I came up with this conclusion. And that conclusion was, you should do the faction quest and the main quest around the same time, and you should scatter your gameplay around through them. God, I think I like inhaled some spit or something. My throat is really bugging me. But anyway, having established that, now that Terran Armada is out, I went through an entire Unity run with a vanilla zero mods collection. And then I hit the Unity, and when I went to the Unity, I turned all my mods back on. So this time through the Unity, I'm in Terran Armada and the Free Lanes update, and I've also got Watchtower and McLarence's and a bunch of other shit installed. Cryomancers, the Spacer Overhaul, those are the big ones. And I've got the Bethesda's Escape and At Hell's Gate and The Perfect Recipe and a bunch of skins and some other stuff. All of which I'm now running alongside Terran Armada, and I haven't had any problems. But of course, I can't just run those mods and not do anything weird. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to complete all of the Watchtower content without using a fleet. I've previously done it without skydrops because I don't like the idea of skydrops. I think skydrops just completely change the nature of battle in Starfield. God, hold on. I will be back. Okay, we're doing good. Everything's cool. Anyway, I've already been through Watchtower once, not using skydrops, because I think skydrops change the semantics of Starfield combat too dramatically, and I don't like that. I don't like doing that. And the mechs are tough, but they're not unkillable, okay? So because they're not unkillable, because you can take them down without using a skydrop, I've been doing that. I've done that before, but now I've gone, what if I just don't have a fleet? What if I don't add multiple ships to my space combat? What if I just keep doing it solo? And so far that's been going well. I've defeated Watchtower Hub Alpha. I'm now on Watchtower Hub Kappa. I haven't even started on that. Well, I have started on. I taken out one Watchtower array for it, but the rest of them I haven't touched yet. I've spent a lot of time handing credits over to Harper for listening posts without gathering intel, and I've got an awful lot of quest markers on my screen. So, so that's kind of funny. However, I do still have some things that I want to experiment with, and one of them is, now I know that before your first Unity jump, you cannot use quantum essence to improve your starborn powers. Well, I have a character that's already prepped and ready and has been through the Unity exactly once and hasn't actually started adventuring within the Unity yet. And they're going to be like right at the point where they can use quantum essence to improve starborn powers. I want to experiment with that. I want to see how that works out. And let's see. What else? I've got a character that has just started, like they've just walked out of the mine in Vectera, but Barrett hasn't arrived yet. And I want to kind of do that brand new thing with Watchtower all the way from the beginning, because I've never done that. I want to see how that fits together. And then there's some other stuff that I want to experiment with. Like, there's this question in my head about what's the best armor in the game. And one of those questions is the Starborn Venator suit, okay, which is the one you get when you're like you've been through the Unity like X number of times. It's the top level Starborn Guardian, the top level Starborn suit, and I want to compare that to the Starborn Gravis suit that you can download from Creations for free, and then I want to compare that to the Mantis suit and to some of the suits from the Terran Armada and Watchtower DLCs, and see, with the new improvement mechanics, which one of them is really the best. Because if it's not the Gravis suit, I don't have to keep that in my load order. And I'd kind of like it to be the Mantis suit, but it's okay if it's not. If it's not the Mantis suit, then the only reason I do the Mantis quest is to get the Razor Leaf, and that's because it has that whole scare spacers away thing. But I don't really think I need that either. I think the cost... I think the cost of upgrading the Razor Leaf is roughly the same as the cost of turning any other ship, like the Wanderwell you get from the Kid Stuff trade, or the prison ship that you get as part of the Crimson Fleet quest, or the Junker Watchdog you get as part of the Trackers Alliance quest, or just like any spaceship that you steal. I think that that converting one of those into a high quality ship would cost about the same as upgrading the Razor Leaf, and you wouldn't have to do that quest. So I don't know. I don't think that's necessary. And if you're going to use the Wanderwell, I mean, using the Wanderwell is like, that's free, and you don't even have to do anything. It just pops up, and you just go, okay, let's upgrade this, upgrade that, upgrade this, upgrade that. There you go. I don't keep the reactor. I don't keep the grav drive. I don't keep any of the weapons. I don't keep the shield. There's nothing on the ship that I keep except the structural parts and the halves. And I even swap out the halves, really. I mean, I don't need an armory. It's just not important. So, I typically swap it out for a workshop. So I don't know, man. I mean, just like, maybe I don't need to worry about the Razor Leaf at all. And I'm going to play with that a little bit. I got all kinds of stuff that I want to test, and nobody is testing this stuff, so I have to go and test it myself and go, how does this work? How does this work out? Now that you can upgrade weapons and armor with money and X-Tech, instead of having to find it organically in the world or at merchants, how can I exploit that? Can I get really powerful weapons at a very early level? And I also want to compare, like, how far you can take. I want to take a look at what you can do with weapons out of Young Neil 1's high-level weapons mod. I want to see what you can do with that. And I suspect you can't do that much with it, and I suspect it will turn out that mod 2 is obsolete. I don't even use any of the weapons that I have blackout skins for from Bethesda, so I'll probably get rid of those. I don't really like the vehicle, so the Dimog is kind of useless. And now that we have the Moon Jumper, once you find the Moon Jumper, there's no point in having the Dimog around, is there? I mean, you're not going to use it. You're not going to be driving it. May as well get rid of it. The observatory, I never build those at my outposts. So it's like, if the high-level weapons aren't all that great and aren't that high level, really, then there's no point in that. And if the Starborn Gravis suit isn't that great compared to some other piece of armor, then there's no point in that. There's really nothing that great that comes out of the secret recipe quest, or the perfect recipe. So I may not even want to keep that in my load order anymore. Escape is kind of cool. I'm still playing with Escape. I'm still messing around with possibilities and options on Escape, trying to find my way through it and learn all of the nifty little secrets about it. And then what else is there? There's at Hell's Gate. You got to keep at Hell's Gate, because at Hell's Gate gives you the 6 plushies, and on top of getting those 6 plushies, you also unlock the skin in McLaren's Outfitters for your armor, so you can look like the Doom guy in like regular armor. But I don't know if that armor's great. If that armor's not great, then skins for it don't matter, and at Hell's Gate can go to hell. I'm not sure how much you can upgrade the super shotgun, if you can upgrade it at all. I don't know how much you can upgrade the Crucible Blade and the Praetor armor. I'm just not sure. So I got to mess around and experiment with stuff. I got to try things and see how well they work out, because I have all of these questions about stuff in Starfield that nobody else seems to be asking, let alone answering. So, yeah, that's where I'm sitting with Starfield right now, is I'm trying to get these last 7 achievements, which aren't going to be that tough. I mean, it's like 30 Terran Armada thingies. You got to take out, what do they call it? The incursions. You got to take out 30 incursions. Yeah, I'll work that out. That'll be a thing. I'll figure out how to do that. And there's one encounter that I think is in cruise mode after you've started Terran Armada. And then there's the 2 things you can do with Delta after Terran Armada. It says 2, 4, 5. And then there's 10 missions for the Arbitrator. I'll get that done. That's just grind. And then there's collecting all of the action figures. That's going to be a pain. That's going to be a real pain, because I've spent a substantial amount of time in cruise mode during this playthrough, and I've only got 7 of the action figures. I don't know. Maybe some of them only pop once you've started Terran Armada. Maybe some of them only stop once you've... maybe they're tied to doing certain quests. I haven't done the Freestar quest line. I haven't done the Crimson Fleet quest line. Maybe after I've done those, that will unlock certain action figures being available. I don't know. But I got all of this different stuff to test out, and I don't feel like most other people are testing stuff out. I don't think they're trying things. I think I think most people, when they play Starfield, are just looking for, how do I have fun and enjoy myself and exploit the game to give me what I want? And I don't see a whole lot of people that are going, what happens if I do this? And what happens if I do that? And I just kind of feel like that's important and people should be doing that, but they're not. I don't really know why they're not. because it just seems obvious to me. It seems obvious to me that that's what you do. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm sitting. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I don't know that I have anything else of value. I don't know that I had anything of value to say in the first place during this video. But that is where I'm sitting, is with all of this stuff I want to try in Starfield. But I'm also getting kind of burned out on playing a buttload of Starfield. I mean, since the Free Lanes update came out, I have put about 180 hours into Starfield in a week and a half. That's a lot of time. It's it's probably not a whole 180 hours. It's probably closer to like somewhere between 130 and 180. Because I was thinking that I was like 50 hours short of hitting 4,500 hours before Terran Armada came out. But I have to have been less than that, because 180 hours in a week and a half, that's 18 hours a day. I have not been playing 18 hours a day. I mean, maybe 16, but not 18. I definitely had a few sleepless nights. And there's been a lot of days that you wake up, start Starfield, and close Starfield, go to bed. Starfield all day long. It's a great fucking game. I fucking love it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting with Starfield right now. Is I am getting kind of, sort of, a little bit burned out on it. I've put a little bit too much time into it over the last week and a half, and I may want to take a break from that. Also, I've been really kind of feeling some internalized pressure, just like self-directed pressure, to do more art, to get back to my sculpting and my painting, and maybe finally stop procrastinating and go do this fucking GD script shit. I don't want to do GD script. I'm a real programmer. I don't use crappy scripting languages. But the use case for C# in the shell of a game just doesn't make sense. I mean, you ought to do your menus in GD script. You ought to do your options in GD script. That's the only thing that makes sense, really. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about my save data object. I haven't even done the architecture for that. I haven't even thought about save games yet. I've done save games before, and it's a fairly simple thing, but that was a clicker game, and a clicker game's different from a roguelike, and yeah. So that's going to take some thought, and that's going to take some work, and at some point I'm going to have to bite the bullet and fire up Reaper and start porting the unfinished music I've got in LMMS over to it. And I've got to get comfortable enough with Reaper that I can work with it the same way I could with LMMS, which I was still trying to get to the point that I was as comfortable with LMMS as I was with Orion. And hadn't quite got there yet. So that's frustrating. Anyway, I do love Starfield, but I can't do nothing but Starfield for the rest of my fucking life. I got work to do. I got art to do. I got music to play. I got games to make. I got stuff that needs to be done. Huh. But I'm going to keep up with the I'm going to keep up with the experiments for a while, and I'm going to see what I can come up with on them. It's just probably in the next few weeks. I'm between the pressure of wanting to do other stuff and the pressure of having to go out and do yard work, which is very much upon me. I've had to go out and clear some blackberry bushes, and I've got way more blackberry bushes to clear. And the yard is just a fucking jungle right now. I've got to go out there with the mower and take all that shit down. But yeah, I may be. This is typically like around late April, early May is when my ability to play a lot of games kind of disappears for a month or two. And that, that is what it is. So if you're here for Starfield content, we may dry up on that a little bit, but there will still be the 3 videos a week about something or other. Anyway, once again, do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit. And, okay, bye.